Hello there everyone, welcome back to Alfa Romeo. It's been a little while, but we're back. We're about to continue where we left off. If you ever enjoyed the series, please do like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, helps me a ton. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. So first race out in Bahrain, we did pretty well. Bottas won, show ended up 5th, which isn't great, but honestly, let's face it, it's acceptable for sure. And generally, we are looking to have a pretty strong car this time around. Currently designing still some more parts here. We're probably going to keep on designing until we get these designs out. And then we're going to go into research, which is just the most efficient way to kind of progress your car in this year's game. If you want to limit yourself versus AI, doing 2 researches for each part is kind of advised. But we are kind of going a little bit aggressive on this playthrough, and I'll probably be making one I won't say soon, but once we either finish Alfa Romeo or Alfa Tauri, we're probably going to make one that is more focused on well, limiting ourselves and making it feel more, natural in terms of our progression. So driver report here, Show has leveled up his cornering and his control, which is honestly very, very nice for us. Reactions for Bottas, for good old Porsche here, 2 points in defending, 1 point in overtaking. Honestly, I would have loved that I was turned the other way around, but we'll be leveling him, and as I said, probably letting Bottas go this next season, promoting potentially Porsche, potentially also promoting a different junior for Show's place. We'll see, but we have some options. In terms of Bottas' contract here, it's running out in 25, but we can, of course, pay him out of it. If we were to say promote Porsche in a bit, but again, not really a big concern there. Honestly, should be perfectly fine. Now, in terms of our, pit crew training, we are actually a little bit troubled. The main reason behind this trouble is very simply the fact that we have a very high chance, even while well rested, to cause errors. Now, I would like to get the time itself down to about 2 seconds. So we'll do 3 gym trainings or 3 days of training here to begin with, and then we'll do some pit stop drills. Again, we don't have the absolute best pit crew currently, which is a bit of a concern. Particularly the errors is going to be hitting us hard, most likely. So I do want to get that fixed. But while I set up this calendar, I just want to say, as I said here, that we are probably going to be starting a new save pretty soon. I will be streaming on hopefully Saturday, maybe Sunday this week. It's been a while since we last played McLaren as well, but life has just been a bit busy. I've been enjoying a little bit of Starfield too, but not enough where I can actually get a video or anything of that. But that might come out sometime later. For now, though, the focus is going to be, as I said, just getting through this. Maybe starting to save. We are going to be, as I said, streaming this weekend. I'll probably be doing it on Saturday around this the time I usually do, 3 p.m. Central European summertime. And that should be fine. We should be getting back with McLaren there. Maybe we'll make McLaren the old way around the world save. We'll see. I am very tempted to make one very, very soon. But yeah, basically once we have kind of finished up what we want to do with Alfa Tauri, with Alfa Romeo, the next 2 saves that I want to do is one around the world. Should probably have already started one, seeing that 1.6 and 1.7 have been out for a while. But I would also like to, make a more challenging playthrough where we are kind of limited. So if you have any suggestions for that going into the future, please let me know, and I'll take it into consideration. But yeah, with that out of the way, sorry, let's get back into Alfa Romeo, which you're here for. A little bit of a tangent there, but I do tend to go on those. But we have set up the strategy here now for training. For Jeddah, it's fine. For Australia, it's fine. And with that in mind, we should be perfectly fine in with letting this go. It's going to lower our chance of mistake pretty nicely here. Again, if we really wanted to, we could put it on the wheel gun. That actually lowers the chance most here out of anything. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The wheel gun just is the best thing to do if you want to lower your, mistake chance of virtually everything. Because the wheel gun also has to do with tires, and, well, as a result, it is the thing that will lower your mistake chance more in terms of focus. As you can see, if we go with new tires on, tires, release, the chance down the corner, the wheel gun is just the most important part in terms of lowering your chance of, errors. Now, we do also have some concerns here in terms of our staff facilities. We are currently upgrading them, but we'll be trying to get them maxed this season. Last season, we focused a little bit too much on the car, maybe. So, upgrading these is going to be a focus this year. Potentially also upgrading the design center, because if we do get that event, we'd like to, take advantage of it. So, refurbishing or upgrading the design center is definitely also on the menu. But again, we don't want to upgrade the wind tunnel or the safety because they don't really, they don't pay back the value, mainly because of the monthly upkeep here that goes into your cost cap. With that said, I think we're ready to continue. Board attendance at the Grand Prix. Sure. Although we'll probably crash out as a result. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. ATR starts today. We could, of course, put this ATR period into our parts, but we're probably going to do research. We'll have to see. Judging by the results we had last time out, I think we can go for fastest lap. I think we can go for both cars in Q3. One car, well, we could actually just go both cars top 10. And even that will pay us a lot of money. So let's say both cars 7th or above. That should be doable. Because, again, our car currently is fairly good. Let's put it like that. We lack the RS effectiveness. We lack top speed. Acceleration isn't the best in, the class, but our cornering ability is. We do lack a little bit in dirty air. But, again, we have a very, very strong car here. And we're still lacking that rear wing. That's going to help with the DRS effectiveness. So, even as we are now, I wouldn't be too worried. With that said, though, let us go ahead and jump into Jeddah. See if we can get some more points. I made an error, let's be honest. We qualified 5th and 8th. This is not the best qualifying we ever had, but it is what it is. We sent Shoan in a bad window, which didn't help him out at all here for his final run. To be fair, though, his previous runs weren't too good. But if you consider that the Q2 times are set on old softs, then yeah, this is not a great result. We're going to lose a little bit of money there from qualifying, which is unfortunate because our goal was 2 cars 7th or higher. Of course, I did just toggle it once to the wrong side. That is on me. But we're going to have a bit of an interesting race here now because we're starting in 5th and 8th. So that's probably going to make things, as I said, a tad interesting. Now, in terms of compounds here, the soft tires are 3/10 quicker than the mediums, but they degrade 300, so it's just 10 laps. From medium to hard, we have about 5/10, and the degradation there is 200, so 25 laps. But with the fact that we can run an aggressive strategy and run this even as a one-stopper, we are going to be starting on potentially the medium tire here, is what I'm thinking. Because if we take a look at the tires that we have available, Bottas actually has 2 sets of hards, which is hilarious to me. But I was hoping that we'd have 2 sets of medium for both boys, but we don't really. So I think what we're going to do here is start on the mediums. We're going to go very aggressive on them. We are going to do a potential hard stint, or potentially we do 2 soft stints instead, because we do have soft tires. The question is, will this be quicker than doing, a hard stint? That's the question. Now, right now, this looks to be about as quick as the one-stopper. Sorry, that's wrong. It's actually half a minute quicker. But if we do this like it's supposed to be, then it's just 3 seconds quicker. So nothing massive there. But if we were to say, switch this now to a hard stint, then get onto the hards potentially a bit quicker. It's not really going to be anything helpful there. Honestly, having 2 sets of mediums here would be king. So we might do this just to kind of speed things along here. We can, of course, also start on the hards, so go on the hards till the end. But what I'm thinking here is that we actually are going to do the same strategy for both here. We go into that aggressive 2-stop soft stint. It is Jeddah. We could have incidents, happen at any given time. So I think this is the best option that we have. The pit stop ones, you have to take into consideration that we do have a 14% chance to make an error. With this, we're going to do at least 4 pit stops. Odds are one of those is going to be a mistake, even though if you consider 14%, you'd say that we have about a 6 in 10 chance of making it through safely, or basically a 3 in 5. But at the same time, that's not how odds work. If you have a 15% chance times 4, the odds actually, pretty... Yeah, random chance doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So, well, this is probably the safest strategy for us, honestly. But I feel we'll have much higher chance of getting up the grid by doing something like this. So that is what we're going to be trying here. We do have a very good car for cornering. We don't have a car that is good at following. So we do need to try and get something done in the first medium stint, get some overtakes done, get ahead of others. And as I said, we will be taking advantage of any sort of safety car here. That is also kind of why I want to keep the hards kind of as a backup for Bottas, of course. Since he has 2 sets, we could have started him on the hards. That probably would have been the best. But we're going to go for the mediums here from the get-go. And I think that is a fairly acceptable strategy.
We're now moments away from this. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix.
So medium and soft runners only for virtually everyone here.
And it's lights out and away we go.
Looks like we had a decent start. Show had a bit of a bad one there, as you can see. Bottas, though, is immediately getting aggressive with Perez, which is what we like to see there. Should be able to actually just immediately overtake him. Very nice. And as I said, Show did not have the best start here, but he is still battling the Merc. Still not completely out of it, but honestly, that's going to be a tough fight to win. He might actually get it here into the corner because he is on the inside. And he does. So Show held on to his position. We'll take that as a W. Bottas managed to make up a place. We'll take that for sure too. So far, it's been a good start. Now, the top 10 soft runners, they actually have fresh softs, which is going to be a bit of a concern. But I still think we are looking very, very promising. We held on to our positions. We got one actually, overtaken. Leclerc is falling a bit backwards here from Sainz. So, potentially once we get DRS, we might just fly by Sainz, which honestly also is pretty good. Show is falling backwards a little bit from the Astons, which is concerning. But not highly so. It's still within acceptable parameters, so to speak. Now, the surface heat of the tires here does tell a story that if we run behind other cars, we might end up overcooking these mediums. And we don't really have much leeway in terms of durability. So we are going to have to pay a little bit attention to that, though. But as you can see here, Leclerc has fallen behind Sainz. So Bottas here should have an incredibly easy time overtaking. Show is also falling backwards a bit, but now that the other cars are, kind of taking a bit of a breather, if you will, he should have a much easier time to just, catch up, and he already has. He's gone up all the way up to the back of the Aston Martins here. So what I'm thinking we're going to do with him is just recharge, although he is already attacking Alonso pretty significantly there. And we're just going to recharge Bottas too. And we'll try on the main straight here to get the overtake done for both Bottas and Show, hopefully. And that is going to be the plan here. For Bottas, as I said, there shouldn't actually be any problems just powering through, I would think. But he is running close enough here to Leclerc that it is becoming a bit, worrisome.
There's the opening.
The fact that Show gets the overtake done with DRS versus DRS there against soft tires is kind of massive. I would disagree, Bottas. It looks like your overtake succeeded. But yeah, degradation-wise, it is also a tad concerning.
Let's take a closer look. Now, this was Valtteri Bottas.
Got it done on the straight with DRS, so it is what we were looking for. Now we're going to continue with what I've been doing so far. Basically just working both cars further up the grid. For Bottas, I actually do want to deploy. Try and pull away from Leclerc here before the detection point. It would be massively helpful if we did. But yeah, the heat here is a bit of a concern because we're getting very, very close now to that 130 degree, I was about to say cap, which is a bit concerning. But if we need to, we'll just tune it down to aggressive a little bit here, but we will be attacking and trying to make the most out of these tires here on this first stint. And for sure too, we're going to try and work his way upwards. He actually gets through fairly easily there. And we'll be tuning down the fuel usage now. And hopefully, yeah, we can have show harvest behind both Paris and Leclerc. And then get ready for an additional overtake fairly soon. Hopefully, it can make its way balanced to both of those without any, you know, errors. We're going to do the same for Bottas. He's going to be working on Verstappen and Sainz. And hopefully, we'll be looking fairly good once we get to that first pit stop of ours. We're getting very close here now to our first pit window. We're actually on the optimal pit stop lap. We're going to be pitting Bottas this lap for sure. We're also going to have a lot of other soft runners be pitting this lap too. But for sure, we're going to be stretching him one more lap. And that is to give us a little bit more fighting room later on. Now, the other soft runners here, including Sainz and Verstappen, off-on pits this lap. They are going to be pitting fairly soon. The same goes for these medium runners. So we aren't actually looking very shabby right now. If Bottas pits now and Verstappen and Sainz does not, he should be able to jump both of them on the pit stop because, again, the soft tires should be just that quick. Again, we're going to be running show for one additional lap. And the reason for that is, you know, he has more left in his mediums. That should make his life a little bit easier. Verstappen does actually pit. And for us, we do actually get a good pit stop here. We do come out behind Verstappen, which isn't surprising. But unfortunately here, we do end up with Hamilton actually squeezed in between, which is very unfortunate. But should also be quickly dispatched here, in all honesty. Verstappen did go on to medium tires, so I would assume he's going to do one more stop with that. We'll have to see, though. But yeah, that does, you know, ask some potential questions. And we do need to try and get by him quickly. Now, Shoei actually comes out not too shabbily either. He's behind Russell, but that shouldn't be a problem. He should have no problem overtaking. The main concern is actually going to be if we're going to end up cooking these soft tires to the point where, you know, going on the hards would have been a better choice because we can run them on attack for, you know, a longer time. That's going to be the main question, if you will, that's going to need answering during this race. And Bottas here, we might actually need to tune him down
no more overtake
early here because we are getting closer to the DRS train. We are getting closer to the, you know, peak temperature, so to speak. Some cars do pit here. Show actually managed to get out ahead of Sainz, which is beautiful. It means that we now only have Verstappen on fresh tires ahead of us. Hopefully also we can actually have Show deploy here and get away from Sainz because we do not want to give him any sort of tow. But the first pit stop here, while not amazing by any means of the imagination because of where we came out, it's still looking very, very promising here for us, to be fair. So we'll see what we can do with Bottas. We do need to get the overtake done. We do need to try and follow Verstappen as much as possible. The quicker we can overtake him, the better, honestly. But yeah, with Paris Leclerc, you can see that we are in a fairly good position here. And Bottas now should have some free reign to chase down Verstappen again. We'll pay close attention to the degradation of the tires. Honestly, right now I think we can be very, very happy with where we're at. We're getting very, very close now to that final pit stop. Degradation has been a tad higher than anticipated, which is, as I said, very problematic. We'll probably have to run the first few laps, at least for Bottas, probably for Shohei too, on a more aggressive, you know, line. Now, because we're pitting again, we're also going to get potentially in a little bit of trouble here with, you know, the gaps. But looking, as long as we come out ahead of Stroll, I think we'll be fine. Gaps between Bottas and Show are also just good enough. But yeah, as you can see, we come out 6th, we come out 7th. And as I said, we are going to have to run these tires once they get up to temperature a little bit more in the aggressive range. We actually have a virtual safety car here that kind of makes our current situation kind of moot, unfortunately. I would assume some cars might pit.
Now we should be able to take a look here. It was George Russell involved. Tries to get by, and the contact between the cars, inevitable. The teams will no
Where
doubt
exactly
be very
did the
keen to
Alpine end up?
establish the full extent of the damage.
Looks like the Alpine ended up on the moon by the camera work, at least.
Virtual safety car. Remember to follow your delta.
Yeah, that virtual safety car, not the best timing for us. We just pitted.
Watch out for debris.
It would have been way better if it came out, you know, a lap earlier. Ocon with the penalty. He's also out, so yeah, it looked kind of like he ran into the back of Russell there, to be fair. And that made him lose control of the car. But yeah, this virtual safety car, although not great, because we pitted a lap, you know, too early to take advantage, it does actually give us an opportunity here to run full attack till the end, most likely. We'll have to see, though, because as we get closer to the others, the heating tires is going to go up. That is going to be a tad concerning. But we have extra fuel now. We can push. We can be a bit more aggressive. We should have no problem just flying by Alonso, Leclerc, Perez, the entire, you know, gang here, if you will. So, with that in mind, the safety car might actually be, you know, been a bit better time than I anticipated, and I might have been a little bit too negative about it. It's still going to help us, don't get me wrong, but it could have helped us more, is what I'm trying to say. Show here is already up to the back of Alonso, basically running inside of him at this stage. Hopefully we can get by quickly, so we don't overheat these tires too much. Kind of can. For Bottas, it's going to be the same thing here with Leclerc, get close and get by, but as I said, we'll have to see it. We might need to tune down the tires a little bit too aggressive, because of the fact that we are kind of overheating them. Hulkenberg's had a bit of an incident. He pulls out another VSC out of the hat. That's going to help with cooling our tires, but it's also going to be a bit problematic here in terms of getting enough time to hunt down the cars in front. Yeah, that's him out. Rear suspension broken for sure. I have to say that after 1.6, there has been less safety cars, less incidents, I feel. But I also feel like the crashes look a little bit more realistic, even if we haven't had any, you know, real news about it, so to speak. But yeah, that is how I feel. 10 laps to go, though. Can we maybe hunt down Perez and Sainz? Maybe. Gonna be close for sure here with the amount of virtual safety cars we've had. But it is definitely possible, I think. We're going to deploy with both here. Just take advantage, get away from the cars behind us for show. Hunt down Leclerc quickly for Bottas, and then, of course, start hunting down Sainz and Perez. Well, let's see what we can do with show here. I think he's just a tad too far back to really take advantage and catch up. Even though we do have a pretty significant tire advantage. So, we shall see. Bottas gets his job done, though. Flies past Leclerc. I am pretty sure Show will be able to fight Leclerc for 5th at least. But yeah, we'll see exactly how this ends up. Pull the gap. Very good. Tune down Show. And we'll have a look in now on what we're looking at in terms of lap time. So 1:28.7. Means that we basically have already fastest lap. We're also catching up by almost 3 seconds here a lap with 6 laps to go. That's also on Verstappen, keep in mind. Almost 3 seconds there. So, as long as we do not get stuck overtaking Perez and Sainz, we might have a very viable chance here at getting Verstappen as well. But the main concern is going to be, of course, if they are running, you know, side by side. We are going to be running 3 deep into the corner.
That's 6 laps to go.
Bottas thinks better of it and pulls back in line, so to speak. But yeah, depending on how quickly we get the overtakes done, that's going to decide if we have enough laps to hunt down Verstappen as well. So right now, it does seem like we have, you know, the gap that we need. We're going to go high aggression here for both to try and get the overtakes done. Should have done that earlier for Bottas. But he does get the overtake done here. Hopefully now with DRS, we can catch the Ferrari too. That would be massive. And it looks like we are going to do just that. There we go. We do, of course, not want to... we don't want to push these guys along with us. So hopefully we can create a bit of a gap here. We're actually going to use all of our energy to do that. Because by creating that gap, we give Show a chance to fight for a podium. And that is exactly what we've done now. Created that gap. 9 seconds to Verstappen, though, is going to be a bit of a, you know, tall order, if you will. But we might be able to pull that off. For show here, I don't think he's had any chance of fighting Verstappen. So again, the fight here is just going to be to prepare and try and get the Sainz in Paris. And even for Bottas here, 1.5 seconds is not enough to catch the Verstappen in. So that is a tad unfortunate. Now, show is basically running inside of the other two here. So if we were to deploy now, would that give you any chance of getting the overtake done? Probably not. A little bit too far back there. But with the aggression that you have, I think we have potentially at least 2 cars in the podium, which honestly is a good result here. We'll take that. Yeah, show is basically inside of the the Ferrari at this stage. There we go. Tries to launch on the outside. Inside now. Move done. Very, very good. That should mean that we will be getting Paris now on the main straight. I would think. Just about. And of course, we're going to do what we usually do, which is just pull away from the cars behind to be on the absolute safe side. And Bottas, as I said, if we had a few more laps, if we didn't have 2 virtual safety cars, although again, the concern then would have been high durability. As you can see, we are running them on the limit now, so they're starting to, you know, really degrade quickly. But yeah, if we had a few more laps here, we might have been able to make something happen. It's a bit unfortunate, but as I said, both cars potentially on the podium here is definitely something that we will happily take. It's not a bad result at all.
Mode end over the line.
And there we go. Double podium. Verstappen wins. That is very, very acceptable. Ferrari, Perez, Ferrari. Then the Astons. Then the Mercs. Very, 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 very good, honestly. As I said, I might be praising myself a little bit too much here, but we'll take this. The one stopper might have been more effective because we did get kind of stuck behind other cars. But we'll take this for sure. With that driver championship here, Bottas is still in charge, but Verstappen catches up a bit. Show is now on basically shared third here, 1 point up to Leclerc. And in the constructors, Red Bull catches up by a point. So we might actually have a bit of a fight here this year with Red Bull on our hands. Particularly if we don't go for, you know, more upgrades. So it could still be a kind of an interesting season, but we'll see as we go. Faster pit stop, we still have the faster pit stop by a decent margin. I didn't think they were this far behind, basically 3/10. So we can focus on error chance for now, and we'll still win the pit stop award by, you know, massively. Show did also have a pit stop error on his first pit stop, which slowed him down a bit, but even then he did manage to get on the podium. And as I said, the qualifying position there, 2 cars, top 7. We qualified with 1 in 8, so that is completely on me. But yeah, still, decent chunk of money. I was a bit too greedy and hoping for a little bit more, and that kind of backfired. Chassis design complete. I believe that this chassis, though, is, you know, one that I made just as a, you know, expertise gain booster, so to speak. So it's not a good one. Let's put it like that. Now, if I want to design say a new underfloor with the CFD time, how exactly will that look? Again, you won't actually see most of the game until you make the second edition after the first one for CFD. But we do have an underfloor here that needs a tad bit of work. And honestly, what I'm very, very tempted to do here is tune down particularly the high speed, the medium speed, and try and regain some, booster stats that we're currently missing. Basically the drag reduction and the airflow, and get these stats a little bit higher. Could be a strategy. As you can see, we get about 20% boost here. 30% boost here compared to the current one that we have equipped. That's the thing. This is like based on the current one they have equipped, and as you can see, we did do the sliders to the minimum for that. So with that in mind, that is why the numbers are as huge as they are. The gain won't actually be this much, but it will allow the next underfloor that we make in this scenario to be a tad bit better in terms of the dead air tolerance, in terms of making up for top speed and acceleration losses. So while this isn't the most efficient use of CFD time, most efficient use would be to put it into research. We're going to go ahead and potentially do this, but I want to have a quick look here on, say, the front wing instead. Because what we could do is make a one that boosts, you know, the brake cooling, the airflow sensitivity, and potentially the airflow front, because the airflow front acts as a multiplier on particularly low speed one. This would still be a good, you know, investment. It would actually be better for the air tolerance boost. And I think we're going to do that instead. The percentages here are a bit higher than the underfloor, so honestly, we can just catch up the underfloor in terms of research. But the main thing is we're getting 30 air tolerance and we're getting brake cooling for the price of, you know, nothing, really. If we were to, say, use this front wing, we're going to lose some low and medium speed cornering ability. But this alone is going to put us into, you know, a lot easier in terms of overtaking. So while I'm probably not going to end up using this front wing, as you can see, just doing something like this is still going to be potentially a massive boost. It might actually be a very usable front wing compared to our competitors, but we'll see. We'll do this, just boost it a little bit for, you know, next time around. There's no real reason to not do rushed when we do this, because again, safety is just a, you know, based on the amount of hours you do, in this case of 5.4 or 54 units, 72 units. Each unit is a day added, so rushing these projects is probably recommended, but because we don't want to, you know, waste money, we're just going to run them normally. It's not it's not a big rush for us to get these done, so we'll do it like this. Putting this into the rear wing might have been a better option, honestly, but I feel like this isn't the worst way to spend my, you know, my money, so to speak. Rear wing will be done in 4 days, and we'll actually have it ready for the Australian Grand Prix. The board was happy with our, you know, double podium. It's increased their confidence, so yeah, we'll take that. Behrman, Crawford, and Hajar for the F2 race do have a failed front wing for both cars, which isn't that surprising. The front wing lifespan did get nerfed quite heavily. Well, not really nerfed quite heavily. It means it got nerfed in the manner that it can now fail after just a single race, which of course is going to be costly if you have to buy 2 new front wings for each race over the course of a season. 23 times 400. That's almost 10 million of, you know, cost cap money. So we might also want to consider for the front wing in particular, maybe upping it to 2 to 3 races. Lifespan is just now 1 to 2, as I said. So it does potentially, you know, give us a bit of a worry in terms of the amount of money we're going to be spending on front wings. Underfloor manufacture is complete. No big problems there. This should be the rear wing design. It has been completed as well. Side pods and chassis are in low stock. I believe we are fine with that. Although I should manufacture a new chassis and probably a new side pod. I think I did this just to make sure that we had enough slots to, you know, get the projects running, which honestly is fine. But what we do need to do now is actually manage this rear wing. Get it manufactured, just manufacture 4 of them. Shouldn't be an issue. Takes 3 days to make each one, meaning that we should have them for Australia, where they're actually kind of important. So it's good that we can get that done. In terms of what we want to design next, I'm thinking we'll just do another chassis. We'll make this one, you know, the focus that we usually do, which is something like this. It'll still just be a small upgrade, but we can, of course, you know, put in a new one. Well, you know, when we manufacture a new one later, we can put this one into production as well. We could, of course, also, if we really wanted to, make a, you know, a different focused one. Say that we want to make one that is more focused on top speed. We do lose a lot of engine cooling and, you know, other abilities for it. So I don't feel like it's worth it, even though, you know, it could help. I think it's better if we just focus on the... Well, we're kind of focusing engine cooling by accident here, but we're also getting a little bit top speed. So we'll just do this project. Again, I'm not min-maxing too hard right now because we already have a very good car. So I'm just making what I think would be the best use of our money, rather than complete min-maxing. Side pod design completed here. I believe this is another one of those throwaway designs. We can, of course, check it, though. Like this one. This is throwaway design. Side pod here too, it's throwaway design. It's basically just there for expertise gain. Although, of course, putting the sliders correctly would be a small upgrade that we could have manufactured later. But again, It's just me being a tad lazy. Now, we are going to be getting the regulation changes in the 15th of April, so it's still almost a month away before we can start research. So we are going to do another design here, and I think we're going to just do another design for design. We're going to do the same thing that we did for the chassis here by making a potential upgrade that we can put on the car later. Again, it's a small upgrade, don't get me wrong, it's very, very minor, but unless you are going to be investing CFD time, this is what you're going to be getting for the most part in terms of your upgrades. There we go. I believe that the suspension here too is another case of a... Nope, this is actually an upgrade. A pretty significant upgrade of that, which is probably why I only have 2 of these. So we're going to get 4 of these, I think. Let's do 2 for now. Under manufacturing. And I'm going to start another suspension design. Because I would believe that suspension is probably one of the things that has fallen the most behind. Personally. So let's go ahead and put 1 more in the bank. Suspension again. Mainly going to be low speed, brake cooling, and airflow front. And that should do wonders for the car here. Honestly, this is still a very good design for us. Get that cooking as well. So, with that said, we do have a few things that we need to get sorted now. For starters, the finish position here, I think we can say that we're going to have a car on the podium. We could also go for both cars in top 10. As you can see, it's probably more lucrative. But we do have a tendency to, as I said, get incidents when that happen. Of course, this is just me being a tad biased, maybe. But I think we'll just do 2 drivers, top 8 for qualifying. That should be more reliable, I think, hopefully. And with that said, we do need to put that rear wing on. And then we will go ahead and, you know, judge the car. Because as you can see, this rear wing is a massive upgrade in top speed, acceleration, and DRS effectiveness. And if we look at it from this perspective, you can see that we are getting boosted in high speed. Apparently someone has overtaken us in that. We're getting an acceleration boost. We're going to be better than 1 team, and we're going to be overtaking 6 teams in terms of the DRS effectiveness. So putting this on the car should, as I said, make us far more competitive. And we're back to first here. Now we have the second best DRS out of any team. The top speed here is still not great. We're basically just ahead of the car, so we do need to work a little bit on that. But the car is far more competitive now, and once we actually do get that dirty air tolerance front wing made in probably 2 iterations, which will take a month and a half, dirty air tolerance should also be going up a bit more and make our life a little bit easier. Now, brake cooling, having high brake cooling is good for a few reasons. Tire heating for one, but also lockups, spins, and other incidents, particularly when we are doing very aggressive strategies. So I think it's looking good. Let's go ahead and jump into the Australian Grand Prix and see if we can, maybe this time, extend our lead over Red Bull. Another quali where we do kind of get bogged down. I think this is a result of me trying to do a singular run for the final one. Bottas did great here, but I did send him out in a way better window than Show. Sent Show out first. He unfortunately had to get by about 4 cars as a result. Kind of hard to gauge exactly when to send them out because, well, the quali line isn't completely accurate on when cars go out. Probably send them out ahead of the pack. Probably was a terrible idea, to be fair, but at the same time, I guess I'm gonna have to just start waiting a little bit. But yeah, the single run here, I'm gonna have to probably work a little bit more on getting my timing right. As you can see again here, times were better in Q1 and Q2. Q3 was kind of bad. Again here, does cost a little bit of money, but I'm more frustrated at the fact that I'm getting it so wrong over and over and over again. It is what it is, though. We'll just have to deal with that. But also did amazing. But yeah, I might just do 2 runs. Again, the second run in the 2-run strategy is going to be slower, but it's still going to be on tracks like this, probably going to be quicker and more reliable in terms of getting a decent lap time, particularly when you have a good car. The 1 run is probably going to be better if you have a worse car, but it is what it is. Now, with that said, for Australia here, we are going to have a, partly cloudy day, which should potentially lead to not the greatest of temperatures for the track itself. In terms of the compounds here, the soft tires have about a 3/10 advantage over the mediums, which is actually a little bit less, but degradation wise here with 200s, we can expect probably 14-15 laps before the soft starts falling off. Medium to hard is about 4/10s. Degradation there is also just 200s, so about 20 laps of advantage. In terms of what we want to do here for strategy, what I'm thinking is, well, this does look good, and this could definitely work. We might try something a little bit cheekier. In terms of the tires, they both have the same amount of tires. So let's see, if we were to say start on the mediums to stay out long enough to, you know, we do not want to update the strategy. To do something a little bit cheeky here with the soft tires, would that be doable? Or will the degradation be high enough that it's not really viable? We can make this happen, but I'm pretty sure that doing a hard stint in here, it's just going to be quicker, because mainly you can, of course, go full attack on that hard stint. We're going to have a bit more flexibility. As you can see, this one is supposedly slower. And again, it's mainly due to the fact that we are running aggressive rather than full attack. But again, even if we do run full attack here, it's not going to help much in terms of lap times. So what we are going to do here is probably invert this one somewhat. What I'm thinking here is that for show, running softs is probably fine, to be fair. Just so we can actually get the attack done. But for Bottas, what I like to do here is actually, as I said, invert it. Basically just the first and last stint there, so that we start on the mediums. And the reason for this is kind of twofold. The main reason why we want to start on the mediums is because we can stay out longer on them. With that in mind, we probably should start on the hards. But by starting on the mediums, staying out long, we'll be able to hopefully make something work here. But honestly, starting on the hards too isn't the worst idea ever, as it will allow us to stay out far longer. But again, it is, you know, trying to find a bit of a balance there. We could try starting on the hards. It's a bit more of an aggressive strategy for, you know, later. But I think this is what we can do for both of them. It's probably not the best strategy, let's be fair. But it's one that I want to, you know, experiment a little bit with. Because, again, we aren't the best at overtaking. We have very good cornering ability. We do have that new rear wing now, so overtaking shouldn't actually be, you know, a concern now I think about it. But we're going to do this for sure. We're going to do this for Bottas. We're going to see if we can stay ahead of the other cars. Safety cars before lap, you know, 26 are going to be bad for us. But we'll see if we can make something out of this, even so.
Get ready for the Australian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. Okay,
we have a decent start here. Actually, an incredibly good start. Perez had a bad one. Sainz is actually kind of attacking him. So Bottas is safe running up front. Show has already gotten a car under his belt, so to speak, taking him out.
Use overtake and try to be clever. Yes, copy.
But looks like the Aston there is kind of coming back at us, so not completely done and dusted. Now it is though, so yeah. A good start for sure. We're already gaining on the Williams here. I think we're going to be a little bit aggressive and give Show high overtake aggression. Because he is already being very, very bold, so to speak. And giving him high overtake here could, you know, help with getting forwards. We're the only ones to start on the hard tire. Most others started on softs or mediums, as you can see. And Ricky even started on older softs somehow. That's a bit concerning, unless he had a, you know, a bit of small lockup there, which potentially could have been. Show doing a bit of a drag race, but the Williams is quick, so no, they're ahead of us, making our life a little bit miserable. But I don't think Show is going to have much problem getting by, and he didn't. So, but that's currently out front, angling with the Ferrari, and we are running, you know, the slowest tire versus the fastest tire behind us here. So the longer we hold them up, the better for us, really. So we'll take this. Next up for Show is going to be Verstappen, which will probably be a bit of a harder customer. But I think we can make do with this. For now, though, we're just going to try and retain our position. We are going to be trying to climb a little bit with Show. temperatures are a bit concerning because we are getting very close to the maximum temperatures here, particularly when we run close to the car in front. But yeah, it is looking still fairly good, I dare say. Show him getting ready to try and attack Verstappen.
Trying. Anything could happen.
Looks kind of promising, although it did get kind of pushed off the track slightly. But yeah, Bottas has been overtaken by Sainz. We are falling backwards. We're kind of going to have to hope here that the DRS will be enough for us to stay within with the car in front. But yeah, right now we're just going to continue as we are, and we'll see where we're at once we get to that first pit stop. We'll be working upwards as we have been so far. Show us up in 6th. I think I'll be able to get up to Sainz and Bottas in due time though, so we'll get that done. We're getting very closer now to that first pit stop. Show us up into 4th, then tangling a bit with Leclerc and Verstappen. There are some gaps here for us to exploit, but I think we're actually going to come out behind the 3 cars here, which isn't going to be great. Well, the 4 cars here, which isn't going to be great in terms of, you know, what we can do. Degradation was a bit high on the softs than we expected. Had to tune him down, which slowed him down a bit. So for Shohei now, this is probably not going to be the best pit stop ever because, as said, we're probably going to come out behind Gasly, Williams, the entire shebang here. And we do actually slot into the middle, which isn't the worst thing ever, particularly when they decide to just, you know, crash out in front of us, giving Show a bunch of free air. That was kind of weirdly lucky. Not even a massive crash, just a bit of a tap where they have to wait to get back on track. So yeah, that was very, very lucky for Show. Gives him a lot of free air here now, as I said, to work with. And once these are up to temperature now, you can start hunting down the other cars. Now for Bottas, honestly, again, running with these cars isn't that bad. By this stage though, our tires should be better. So it's negative in its own right because of that, because we're kind of going to be working as a tow. Later on, we do want to try and create a bit of a gap before they do pit. So the idea now is just that we're going to recharge, and then once we have recharged, we're going to be trying to make a lunge and detach ourselves from the Red Bulls and the Ferraris here, and hopefully get a bit of a gap before we pit onto the medium set for ourselves. Now, I think we're going to just try it right now. So let's see if we can get by here. And as I said, just pull away from the Ferrari and the Red Bulls here in a timely manner, and just kind of go our own way with Bottas, having created a bit of a gap. But as you can see, Sainz is already kind of catching up. So even if we have used all of our energy basically at this point, it didn't really pan out too well. We'll have to see over the course of this lap if we actually can retain this gap. Looks like it's going to be difficult. Maybe we can make it work. DRS is basically how they catch up. There are a lot of DRS zones on this track. So if they keep on fighting, it is doable to create that little bit of a gap for ourselves. But we'll see. Show here already is doing well too, about to catch up to Russell. And there are some decent gaps here, so overtaking shouldn't be a problem for us. We'll see where we're at once we actually do end up pitting Bottas. We're getting very close to that first pit stop for Bottas, but at the same time, Sainz has pitted, we have other cars pitting, we have a yellow flag right now. Alonso's done something.
And yes, yes we have.
Let's have a look here now, see what happened. Albon tries to overtake, and it's the same thing that happened last time around, just Alonso had a bit of a better result. That should not be a virtual safety car or anything, I would think. Now, for Bottas here, we're actually going to stretch him one more lap. We have gaps to play with back to Leclerc, to Sainz, so I think it should be safe for us to pit on this lap. And we do have, you know, tire durability here to take into, you know, consideration. Show also has a lot of free air to play with, so honestly, it's looking good. I'll put it like that. Sainz is running 22 seconds behind. He is the, you know, the quickest of the fresh pitters. But I think Bottas is going to come out handily ahead here, and even Show gets him. So we'll have to see what we do. We might just give Show the order to let Bottas go. Mainly because, again, Bottas should be way quicker on that fresh set of softs versus his used set of hards. But yeah, for Leclerc and Verstappen, I would assume they're going to be pitting fairly soon, probably onto a hard compound, unless they're going to be going on a very, very long soft stint. So it's looking very promising so far. Here we are. We're currently running first and second. Both Verstappen and Leclerc opted to go for a final soft stint here. So this is going to be a tad interesting, particularly as we get close to the end for show here. And of course for Bottas. I'm a bit surprised at how well Perez and Sainz are actually keeping up on their older mediums. If they're going aggressive now too, that would be a bit of a concern. But so far, it is looking good. We'll see where we're at once we get to that final set of pit stops for both of our drivers. We now have a full safety car. I'm not completely sure on what happened, but this does put us in a position where we are going to have to kind of pit. Probably going to have to pit Bottas here too, to be fair. So for sure, it's actually incredibly simple. He was supposed to pit this lap anyways, and the safety car makes this just a no-brainer to do. For Bottas, though, it does give us a bit of a concern here because, again, we're going to be going on softs, but we're going to be going on them a little bit earlier than we anticipated. It's just what we have to do. There's no reason not to pit him here. The gaps are huge.
Yes, it's Carlos
Perez
Sainz.
has actually crashed with Sainz by the sounds of it. Let's see what actually happened here. Just tapped him into the wall. Oh, okay, the wall ate him. Yeah, that was probably a bit too much sandy, but yeah, that front wing is made of...
Follow Delta, stay positive.
It loses end plates, so he might need to,
Just
you know,
focus on
replace
the
that, but
tires
I
now.
wouldn't think so. Again, Bottas and Show both are going to be pitted here. We'll have to see what Verstappen and Sainz ends up doing. Bit of a pit stop error, but not actually a concern here because we're still out ahead. So we'll take that. Verstappen does not pit. He's going to be on older softs, same with Leclerc. And as I said, if a Bottas now, we're going to have to see how drastically we're going to have to change his strategy. Because we don't really need to change anyone else's. I do hate that you can't actually change the, you know, the strategy after you've already done it. But what it looks like here is running aggressive is going to be okay. So we're going to try and do just that. Now, Show is probably going to be able to get away from Bottas, which isn't actually a problem. It's actually beneficial if it does so, because we do have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz ready and waiting, just about behind us. But yeah, this does also help us because we can make these tires last longer. Should make life a little bit easier. And depending on how many laps of safety car we actually get here, we might be able to go full attack on these softs. But as we saw on the shows here, the softs degradation, it does get a tad high towards the end, and looks like the safety car is going to be coming in this lap. So yeah, a bit limited here on what we can do. I think still just doing aggressive is going to be our best bet, and then we can go attack towards the end if we feel the need, because we do have, as I said, a bit of a tire advantage here over the other cars. Restart is underway. Let us see how it goes. Looks to be fairly safely, you know, done. But again, the main concern with this restart is actually going to be, as said, Verstappen overtaking Show. If Show can hold Verstappen off and stay with Bottas, I think we have most of the work done. But Verstappen is basically already, you know, kind of getting very aggressive there in terms of launching a potential attack. But we're going to have a hard time pulling away. There's no other way around it. It's not going to be an easy one. And for now, though, it is still looking fairly good. We have DRS. We have pulled away from Sainz. So, while not great, we still have a good chance in this race. We'll keep on trying to hold on to positions, and we'll see where we're at in, you know, about 10 laps time. We've had yet another incident here with a couple of yellow flags.
It looks to be the Mercedes.
Mercedes involved. Russell. Oh, Mercedes and Mercedes violence, eh? Let me guess, he just turned in on me? That is a bit unfortunate, to be fair. But that does happen. But yeah, we are kind of running information at this point. We are 4 seconds ahead of Verstappen, which is why we tuned down the cars a bit. We might tune them down further down if we see the need, particularly because we can end up crashing into each other. Both of them do have fairly good confidence, though. Sure, having extremely good confidence, while Bottas having a bit lower. Honestly, starting further down might be, you know, good in terms of getting, you know, confidence boost in the stats. But it's not a huge bonus, particularly in this case. But yeah, currently we'll just allow them to run like this till the end. It is a bit risky with what you saw happen to the Merc there. But I have tuned both of them down to low overtake aggression, rarely defend. So I'm hoping that they will be able to be civilized about this and get to the end of the race without incident. It's all I really can hope for in this case. Both Russell and Hamilton ended up outside of the points due to probably their crash, for one. I didn't actually know where they were before that. De Vries and Rick being running 12th and 13th is kind of impressive. Tsunoda is currently about to potentially score some points for Williams, if he can hold on. He does have Norris pestering him. But other than that, not really too many surprises here. Again, the point is mainly due to Perez crashing out. Hamilton and Russell, you know, causing problems for each other. So it's not massively surprising. Although Russell did end up fairly far back there. Did pull it off though. Show wins the race.
Fantastic race, Show.
Thank you so much, everyone here in the factory.
I think that's his
There
first
you
race
have
win.
it.
Let's have a look.
It's a win for Joe.
I don't think anyone could be disappointed with a race like that. A consummate professional through and through.
Yeah, we will
Okay, Valtteri,
definitely
that's it.
take that. For sure. One tour in Australia with that new wing. It does prove that we have an easy time overtaking.
Go, Guan
The
Yu, put it all together.
getting a boost there from a front wing in particular might be a tad too much though. But yeah, Show had a massively good race. Made up for, you know, everything. We did also snatch fastest lap, which is lovely to see. Sainz also gets third ahead of Verstappen, which is even better for our championship charge. Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Gasly, and Tsunoda scoring points for Williams. So yeah, with that, we do jump ahead of Verstappen with both our drivers. Show now in second, a point ahead. Gives us 14 points for Bottas now as a gap, which is very, very good. And in the constructors then, Williams is up to 7th with that 1 point that they scored. So very important for them. Pit stop wise, we do still do the quickest pit stops, but Red Bull are now with both cars under the 2.3 mark. So they will be catching up. We will be working on the errors though. We did have an error in this race too. But again, we didn't actually come, you know, cause any harm. But that's not going to be how it goes every time. So we do need to fix that. We did once again mess with the qualifying position. Show just does one lower than where I want him to be. So I don't know if I want to try and say both drivers in the top 10. I see he'll probably end up, you know, not finishing if I do that. Well, not getting into Q3 is what I'm trying to say. We did get Team Hub upgrade completed. We might just start the next one unless it's super expensive. 3.5 million. Let's get that going. And the car part inspection results. The suspension failed. Not a big issue. We also have the chassis manufactured. The feature race here. Marty Barnard and Mansell for F3. Leclerc. Well, the Arthur Leclerc for F2, excuse me. Maloney and then Behrman. So let's get that suspension replaced. We actually do have insufficient parts because we're currently manufacturing the new one. So got them hiccups. But it shouldn't be a problem. We have Baku in 25 days, so it's not actually a you know, a concern of any kind. We're still fairly good on that end. Sorry about that. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to be prepping the car for Baku, and then we're going to be ending this episode. It's a bit shorter than what I'm usually doing, but life is busy currently. And that is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I also do want to try and get a little bit of Starfield played today. I haven't actually had a chance yet, so... Well, not a lot of it anyways. So I'd like to do a little bit of that too before gets too late. Payout increased by 3 times. We'll, of course, accept this one. Hopefully we can actually make it happen. Extra money is always nice, particularly when you are getting into the dominant car position. We'll take some race sim, level 5. Very nice. Rear wing manufacture completed as well. And the race sim now is max, so we can't actually, you know, develop it further, which is perfectly okay. I did actually remember to have Porsche and the driver the practice for both sessions this time around, which is, you know, massive for me, because I usually do tend to forget about them. We should have the chassis design done, but we will not have it ready for the race itself. Which should also mean that by the time that chassis gets out, we'll actually be able to start setting up for, you know, research, which will be good. Confidence checking. The board has high confidence. I would hope so. Show levels up in braking and overtaking. Very nice. And as we can see here, 3 points for Porsche. Defending, reactions, and overtaking. We'll take that. McLaren upgrades at the weather center. AlphaTauri will be trying to get off from the bottom. And we'll be setting up our training schedule here for the pit crew. Again, what we're probably going to be focusing on is going to be pit stop errors. We still have a pit stop crew that is quicker than everyone around us. So the DHL pit stop award isn't in danger. What's actually mostly in danger is, you know, race wins, race podiums, good results as a result of pit stop errors. So we're going to be focusing on pit stop drills, potentially also just focus on, you know, the wheel gun itself. But we'll have to see here. I think 2 weeks should be good enough and get a little bit of rest before Baku. Yeah, this looks to be okay. And even then, they're going to be a bit tired before Miami here. So with that in mind, I think we can go ahead and put 2 sessions in here. That should be fine. And that's okay for us. This is what we're going to be going with. Pit stops are going to be a bit slower. We're going to be dropping down to, you know, the 2.1s. But again, Red Bull just breached the 2.3s, so it's still fairly acceptable. The chance of mistake here is going to be going down by 1.25%. And again here, if we do say put the focus onto the race low car, it would actually lower the mistake chance more. If we put it onto the wheel gun, it would massively lower the chance. And if we put it onto anything else here, it wouldn't lower it too much. Again, the tires off, the wheel gun is going to be your best bet. So we might just go ahead and do this to maximize the wheel gun first, and then we'll start working on other things as we see fit. So yeah, as you can see, even if I did put on wheel gun, it didn't actually put every single focus onto the wheel gun itself. So we'll have to probably manually set some focuses later in the season to make up for this. But again, that's fine. We need to get that error chance down anyways. So that is perfectly a-okay. Should probably check if we're actually manufacturing what we need, but it would look like we are. Let's have a quick look at the warehouse, see where we're at. This chassis we don't need. We have 4. We're caught up. Same with the front wing. Same with the rear wing. The side pod here looks good. This one is a throwaway. Underfloor looks good. And suspension is looking good now too. We're actually going to put this on both cars for the next race here. It's going to be, as you can see, it's actually a fairly decent upgrade. This one here. If we do it like this just to show the difference here. It's 4% brake cooling. It is some top speed. It is some low speed, medium, and high speed. So honestly, this suspension is a fairly big upgrade, and it's gonna be helping us out for sure. Now, with that said, we are actually, I believe, designing another one. So for now, we'll gamble on those 2 suspensions. Although to be fair, I should make at least 1 more just to be on the safe side, because we only have 1 spare in that older one. So let's not go ahead and, you know, force ourselves to emergency manufacture if we have an unlucky weekend in Baku. It's a sprint weekend, which means that we have an additional shorter race, or we can cause ourselves some pain. Minor technical regulation, high speed or low speed downforce changes. Honestly, I think what we're going to be going for here is low speed. Let's be honest here, it's going to hit the underfloor. We don't need to do anything for the rear wing in terms of low speed cornering ability. We don't focus on cornering ability on the rear wing anyways. The front wing is going to need some work, the underfloor is going to need some work, the suspension is going to need some work, so we'll go for low speed downforce as our, you know, weapon of choice. That extra suspension we manufactured is done, and as you can see here, both of them are... The deal here is worried that we didn't have any extras. Chassis design is complete here, and this will be probably the final iteration, which means that we will be manufacturing 4 of these to now use over the course of the season. It's a small upgrade, but it's an upgrade, so we will be asset manufacturing 4 to use over the course of the season, and we are going to be getting into research now that the regulation vote has finished. So, what did we actually get here? Tiebreaker voted for. We got low speed downforce. Oh, help me. I think I had a bit of a mini stroke there. Low speed downforce changes. So we got what we voted for. We're gonna have to, you know, make something with that, and we're just gonna start researching immediately. Now, the underfloor here is gonna be, as you can see here, even if we do research, it's still gonna need a bit of work. Research is still every slide it falls in the middle. But we're just going to be started on the underfloor. And once those other design projects are done, we're going to be doing the same for them. Wind tunnel data concern, sure, we'll approve of the investigation. It's not actually a concern for us if we do. Shut down for a week. Again, we're basically onto the research stage. We have a very dominant car, so even if we lose a little bit of time from that, it should be fine. Now for Baku here, I'm going to be a bit brave and say both drivers in top 6 for qualifying. I think that should make it a little bit more potentially fun and interesting here. Let's go ahead and just check the warehouse here for what we have in terms of car builds. Just want to be on the absolute safe side that we have everything, you know, equipped. And if we have a look now on the car analysis, let's see if anyone caught up to us during this short break, so to speak, for Baku. It's basically, you know, spring break, 25 days. It's a lot of time, 3 weeks. And as you can see, no one did really catch up to us in any meaningful way. We're still 5th, 3rd. I think we lost a little bit out there in brake cooling, but again, it's very, very acceptable. Now, I will be ending this episode here a tad early. Again, it's basically, I've basically been forced to slow down to make the episode shorter, about an hour or so. Mainly so I can reliably get a few out a week. Otherwise, we probably only have an episode every 3 days or so. But yeah, I think this is better. It's still long episodes. I should probably be cutting out a little bit more fluff, in my honest opinion. But we'll see how it goes going forwards. Because as I said, there's some games that interest me this currently. Sparfield, Payday, among 2 of them. So I might also slow down a little bit in terms of just sitting down and relaxing a bit more with those games, because I do enjoy them. But we'll see as time goes. As I said, you might be seeing them on the channel as well. But I'll still be focusing on F1 Manager and probably F1 content. It's just been a tiring last 2 weeks for me personally, so I might need a bit of a break, a couple of days to just clear my head. But I will be streaming on Saturday for sure. And we'll see what we do with the rest of the weekend and the coming week. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Please like the video if you have. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.